You know what really gets me thinking about the future? It's not flying cars, it's not space tourism. It's something way more practical and honestly, way more life-changing. Humanoid robots. And I'm not talking about some sci-fi fantasy. I'm talking about Tesla's Optimus, Boston Dynamics Atlas, and a whole wave of robots that are about to completely revolutionize how we live. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. This revolution isn't about them being fast. It's not about them doing backflips like Boston Dynamics loves to show off. It's about something way more fundamental. Can they do the stuff I need done that I can now offload to them? Let me start with the elephant in the room, price. Because if a robot costs $200,000, we can stop this conversation right now. It's completely irrelevant for most people. But Tesla? They're targeting $20,000 to $30,000 for Optimus once they hit mass production. $20,000. That's less than most new cars, and honestly, that changes everything. Now, some people have criticized these robots for being slow in their demonstrations, and you know what I say to that? I genuinely don't care if a robot is slow. Speed is not the point here. The point is time. My time, your time, the average person's time. Let me put this into perspective. According to the American Cleaning Institute, Americans spend about 6 hours every week just cleaning their homes. 6 hours. The Bureau of Labor Statistics found that women spend an average of 2.7 hours per day on household activities, while men spend 2.1 hours. We're talking about cleaning, laundry, cooking, lawn care, the never-ending cycle of household chores. You know what I'm talking about. And laundry, don't even get me started on laundry. Studies show the average American family does 300 to 390 loads of laundry per year. Women spend about 47 minutes per day on laundry-related chores. That's over 240 hours per year. 10 full days of your life, every single year just doing laundry. So when people ask me, why do you care about a slow robot? Here's why. If that robot can spend an entire day while I'm working doing my laundry, washing and drying and folding and putting it away, I don't care if it takes 8 hours instead of 3, because I'm not doing it. It's getting done without me lifting a finger. Think about it like this. When wealthy people buy a corporate jet, what are they really buying? They're buying back time. Instead of spending half a day in the airport dealing with security lines and delays and connections, they just show up, get on and go. They're buying hours and hours of their life back. And that's exactly what a humanoid robot does for the average person. Putting dishes in the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher and putting everything away, moving laundry to the dryer, folding clothes, vacuuming, mopping, dusting, cleaning bathrooms, which, by the way, 52% of Americans say is their most dreaded cleaning task. All of that adds up. And for the average American who's working their butt off just to get by, who's struggling to afford life, who says it's hard to get ahead, imagine getting all that time back. Time you could be spending with your kids, time you could spend on a side hustle, time you could spend learning something new or just, I don't know, relaxing. I have a housekeeper who comes every week. She cleans the floors, straightens up, vacuums, dusts, cleans the bathrooms, and even with professional help, it's still hours of work. Now, imagine, instead of paying someone weekly, I have a robot that costs me nothing except the electricity to charge it, and it can work all day while I'm gone. It doesn't need breaks, it doesn't need days off, and it's mine. But here's where it gets really fascinating, and this is why the humanoid design is absolutely brilliant. Everything in our world is built for humans. Our doors, our cars, our lawnmowers, our ovens, our snowblowers, our tools, everything. I've looked at robotic lawnmowers like Yarbo. I've got about an acre of land with some ditches and uneven terrain. But here's the problem. I don't want to bury a guide wire around my entire yard. I don't want to build a little shed where the mower goes back to recharge. But with a humanoid robot, it just uses my existing riding mower or my push mower. The robot is backward compatible with all my human technology. We don't need a robot mower with AI, a robot car with AI, a robot stove with AI. The robot itself has the AI, and it can operate everything we already own. It can open my oven, set the temperature, set the cook time. It can use my stove. It might even be able to drive my car someday. And as far as my lawnmower is concerned, the robot is just a human, maybe slower, maybe more methodical, maybe less likely to miss spots, more patient for sure, but functionally, it's just a human. And let me tell you about something that really hit home for me. My neighbors are heading to Florida for the winter. They're going to be gone for months. And they asked me, hey, can you pop into our house once a week? Just make sure nothing froze, that there's no water damage, no broken pipes, that a tree didn't smash through the window. And could you water the plants while we're gone? Sure, no problem. I'm happy to do it. But here's the thing. A robot doesn't need to come with them on vacation. A robot can stay home and handle all of that. Flush the toilet so mildew doesn't build up, water the plants, check the temperature, investigate any strange sounds in the middle of the night, pick up packages from the front porch and bring them inside, take the garbage cans to the curb and bring them back, keep the home secure from squatters or burglars. The robot becomes the perfect house sitter. And honestly, it's better than asking your neighbor. Think about all the services people pay for. Landscaping, lawn mowing, housekeeping, window washing, gutter cleaning, dog walking, even grocery shopping. Morgan Stanley research predicts the humanoid robot market could reach $5 trillion by 2050. $5 trillion. That's twice the size of today's automobile industry. They estimate there could be more than 1 billion humanoid robots in use by 2050. 1 billion robots? And Tesla's planning to produce 1 million Optimus robots per year once they scale up. These aren't pipe dreams anymore. Boston Dynamics just announced they're putting Atlas into production. They're shipping to Hyundai factories and partnering with Google DeepMind to make their robots even smarter. Now let's talk about Tesla's specific advantage. They're targeting $20,000. Some sources say it could eventually hit that price point, while initial units might be $40,000 to $50,000. But here's why Tesla can hit that lower price point. They're leveraging everything they've learned from building cars. The visual perception system in Optimus, it's basically the same technology as Tesla's full self-driving system. Same cameras, same AI, same neural networks. Tesla's already solved the hardest problem, understanding the world through cameras and AI. Now they're just applying it to a robot body instead of a car. And their supply chain, it's already set up to produce millions of vehicles. They know how to manufacture at scale. They know how to drive down costs. And competing robots from Figure AI or Agility Robotics, they're estimated at $150,000 to $250,000. Boston Dynamics Atlas probably runs well into the six figures. But Tesla's going for $20,000 to $30,000. That's a big difference. And that's the difference between technology that only corporations can afford and technology that middle-class families can actually buy. But let me bring this full circle with something that really excites me. The fully self-driving car connection. Imagine you have a Tesla that can drive itself unsupervised. You order food from Jimmy John's. Normally, the car would drive there, but then someone from the restaurant would have to bring out your food and put it in your trunk. They'd have to know you're there. It's a whole thing. But what if your humanoid robot got into your self-driving Tesla, rode to Jimmy John's, walked inside, found the bag with your name on it, grabbed it, got back in the car, and brought it home to you? Then opened up the bag, put it on a plate, and put it on the table for you. So you come downstairs and your dinner is ready. Suddenly, you have what amounts to a personal assistant that would cost you $100,000 a year in the real world. Someone to drop off your dry cleaning, pick it up, run errands, drop something off at your neighbor's house, all while you're doing literally anything else. And here's what really gets me. This isn't just for the wealthy. This isn't just for tech bros in Silicon Valley. If Tesla hits that $20,000 price point, this becomes accessible to average families. Families who are already drowning in chores and errands and responsibilities. Families where both parents work full-time and still barely have enough hours in the day. What would you do with an extra 10 to 15 hours per week? What would that do for your quality of life, your stress levels, your ability to be present with your family? And yes, I know people are going to worry about jobs. Morgan Stanley estimates that by 2050, 63 million humanoid robots could be working in the US, potentially affecting 40% of employees. That's a real concern. But you know what? We've been through technological revolutions before. When cars replaced horses, when computers replaced typewriters, when the internet changed everything. Society adapts. New jobs are created. And frankly, if robots can take over the dangerous, repetitive, boring work, the jobs in warehouses where people are getting injured, the backbreaking construction labor, the tedious assembly line work, maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe that frees up humans to do the work that actually requires creativity and empathy and complex problem solving. I'm also thinking about elderly care. By 2050, more than 1 in 6 people globally will be over 65. We're facing a massive caregiver shortage. If humanoid robots can help elderly people stay in their homes longer, helping them out of chairs, making them meals, reminding them to take medication, providing companionship, that's a huge win for human dignity and quality of life. Look, I get it, skeptics are out there. Some experts say humanoid robots are overhyped. Rodney Brooks, the co-founder of iRobot who made the Roomba, said the idea of humanoid robots as catch-all assistants is pure fantasy thinking. And maybe he's right about the timeline. Maybe it takes longer than we think. But the trajectory is clear. The technology is advancing fast. The market is heating up. Goldman Sachs just revised their 2035 forecast from $6 billion to $38 billion because of how quickly things are progressing. Companies like Figure AI have raised $700 million. Boston Dynamics is backed by Hyundai and partnering with Google DeepMind. Tesla has Elon Musk betting that Optimus will eventually account for 80% of Tesla's value. These are not small bets. This is serious money backing a serious vision. And the competition is only accelerating things. Chinese companies are flooding the market with cheaper alternatives. Unitree's G1 Humanoid starts at $16,000. K-Scale Labs has a bot priced at $9,000. The prices are falling fast, and capabilities are improving even faster. Here's my bottom line. We're living in an age where the game is changing for everyone, not just for the wealthy people, not just for the corporations, for everyone. The average person working a regular job, struggling to keep up with life, drowning in chores and responsibilities, that person is about to get a legitimate solution. A robot that can handle the household work, a robot that can stay at home and manage your property while you're on vacation, a robot that can run errands in your self-driving car, a robot that costs less than a mid-range sedan and lasts for years. That's not science fiction. That's the next 10 years of our lives. And honestly, I cannot wait because I'm tired of spending my weekends doing laundry and mowing the lawn and cleaning bathrooms. I've got better things to do with my time. We all do. The robot revolution is coming, and this time, it's not just for the elite, it's for all of us.